Hey everyone, the numbers are in for Breakfast Point for September 2020. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. And in short, the real estate market is still very, very hot, very active. I'm going to go through the numbers with you in a minute and show you just what I'm talking about. But there are two things I want you to keep in mind if you are selling anytime in the near future, or if you're selling in general when you're in a hot real estate market. In a lot of cases, when there aren't that many choices for buyers, there aren't as many homes for sale for them to choose from, plenty of buyers have made a run or tried to buy a house, or in some cases two or three, and lost out because either their offer wasn't strong enough, or in some cases, many cases, they might have been in what's called a multiple offer situation. They weren't the only one trying to buy the house. Maybe there were two or three or more people trying to buy at the same time, and they missed out. And so whether they knew how hot the market was or not, or whether their agent coached them well enough or not about the status of the market, at some point, plenty of buyers learn and experience just how difficult it is, or just how they start to understand the lack of negotiating power that they may have in a market like this when the seller really holds most or all of the cards. So keep in mind, if you're negotiating anytime soon, if you're selling in this market, plenty of buyers are very, very motivated and may already have been through this situation once or twice or even more than that, and so are prepared to make really good, strong offers. So I mention that because you should factor that into your pricing. Something else that's really driving the market right now is this hurricane relief money. There's some funding out there for anybody purchasing a new home or purchasing a home, and it's going to be a primary residence for them. There's some grant money available. $15,000 can go straight towards a down payment or closing costs. If you qualify, the money's completely forgivable, 0% interest rate. There's some terms and conditions, of course, but if you know anybody doing that, make sure you check out that hurricane relief program. There still is some funding left, from what I understand. That probably runs out in the next 30 to 60 days. But let's get to the numbers. Remember, at the beginning of the pandemic, we started watching this chart. This comes from a company called ShowingTime. ShowingTime is a service that brokers and agents use, of course, to schedule showing appointments. So we knew, or we were expecting to see some kind of fall off, of course, early in March, because people just weren't going to be able to get out and look at real estate. But we also wanted to follow this to assess when people would start to come back into the market. That would be the first step in seeing things pick up again. Obviously, if people are going to make offers, if we're going to have contracts, and if we're going to get to closings, we need people out looking. So we remember by end of May, early June, some of us were surprised that we were showing just about as much real estate as we were in 2019. And if you follow this, I think it's pretty interesting. We're showing just about as much real estate all until recently. Well, really, except for this little anomaly here in September, it's really been pretty steady. So we've been showing as much real estate as we were in 2019. So the next step for us to track would be how many new contracts were being written. So are people getting out of the house just to look, or are they getting out of the house and actually making purchases? So we started tracking this new contracts number to see week over week if people were getting out and what kind of numbers we're seeing in buyers making offers and new contracts being written. So take a look. In September, this week we were up 39%. We wrote 39% more new contracts on homes that week than we did in 2019. The next week, 22% more new contracts were written. The following week, 87% more new contracts were written, 20% more new contracts written the next, and 100% more. We doubled the amount last week in the number of new contracts written. And think about this for just a second to really understand how hot and busy things are. If we're showing the same amount of real estate year over year, you would sort of expect the numbers to be very similar. We would think we would be ending up with about the same number of contracts, right? Maybe seeing some numbers varying week to week, like up 3%, down 8%, up 10%, something in a kind of tight range, because we're showing about the same amount. But the demand, we have very, very serious buyers in the market making offers, and you're seeing these huge numbers of not just a few percentage points higher than last year. We're writing dramatically more contracts right now than we were this time last year. So when we look at the market, I had an error here. Let me get this redone for you. One of my favorite charts I'm going to load up for you. An important number to understand is this months of inventory number I'm going to pull up for you. And remember, the months of inventory is a nice tight little number that gives us an overview of the market based off of what's for sale and also the rate that things are selling. So remember, this is pulling just Panama City Beach, homes priced between $250 and $500. Probably next month I'm going to adjust that to maybe $300 to $550 for Breakfast Point. But remember, the red line represents the number of active or number of units for sale, number of homes for sale in the market. This black line represents the number of closings. But this months of inventory number is really the number I like to focus on here. Remember, months of inventory, 4 or 5 months of inventory represents a neutral market. Theoretically, that means that if someone was going to sell their house, they would put it up for sale, and within 4 to 5 months, it would close. So a months of inventory number, that means marketing, showings, negotiations, contracts, closing process. So theoretically, if that number is applied to the whole market, that means that everything that's for sale today would sell out in this certain amount of time, whatever that number is. And so we know historically 5 to 6 months of inventory was a neutral market, but that was when we needed 30 days to run magazine ads, run newspaper ads, things like that. Now that we can get marketing going, marketing up and running much faster, I sort of contend that we're more like 4 to 5 months of inventory is neutral. So if we look at the entire market and look at the numbers, the months of inventory numbers still are very strong. We've slowed maybe a touch in August and September, approaching neutral, but still a very good active market. We want to get a little bit more detailed. Sorry, I thought I had this prepared for everyone. And pull just Breakfast Point. I'm going to pull Breakfast Point new construction and resales first. And again, red line represents the number of units for sale. Black line represents the number of closings. Seeing the black line, seeing that we had more closings than houses for sale at this little point just has to do with some of the new construction where people sign contracts way in advance and close much later. But look at this months of inventory number. The whole point of this chart for me is look at how Breakfast Point just remains one of the hottest residential markets on the beach. Right now, from September, we're at less than 1 month of inventory. That means, and I'm going to give you some examples in a minute, it takes less than a month. Less than a month is what this number is running right now because of some averages. Less than a month to put it up for sale and get it closed. I mean, it's obscene, really, how hot the market is. And I'm stressing all this because I want to talk about pricing in just a minute. Let me show you some of the activity. This is everything that's currently under contract or that has sold since September 1st. Of course, those contracts could have been written much earlier than that in some of the new section, but I'm just looking at data in the month of September. Let me get my mug out of here. So looking at these square footages, you see plenty of homes over in the new section that are under contract. If you want to slow down, well, let me organize this by price for you first. So some of the 3 bedrooms in the new section, obviously under contract. We had one of the resales sell for $337. Still, these are some of the new construction homes that are under contract. 117 Breakfast Point, or I'm sorry, 117 Cedar Hammock Lane has been under contract for a little while. It's set to close at the end of the month. The asking price is $359. You can see some of the pricing in the new construction. This is a 1,951 square foot 3-bedroom that closed at $374. Here is a 1,958 square foot 4-bedroom that closed at $379.9. Some more pending contracts. Here we're getting into some of the resales, which I think are pretty interesting. 327 Johnson Bayou Drive closed at $380. It was a 4-bedroom, 2,200 square feet. 111 Johnson Bayou Drive closed at 384. It's a 3-bedroom that closed at that number. A couple more under contract in the new section. 320 Basin Bayou Drive. Under contract, the asking price was $397 there. More new construction. 526 Breakfast Point Boulevard, a 4-bedroom, closed at $427,500. More new construction. 205 Basin Bayou Drive, which is a resale. Under contract, $429,900 is the asking price. More new construction under contract, and you can see the pricing. These are the builders, they play around with the numbers a little bit, but these are, you could expect them to close around these numbers. These are what the contract price was sometimes before some of the upgrades and changes, but the pricing should close around some of those. Now we're getting into a couple of interesting resales that really just speak to how hot the market is. 215 Johnson Bayou Drive, we put up on the market for $448, and we had a contract within, I think, 72 hours, something like that. We had an agreement. 309 Basin Bayou Drive closed at $467. 416 Breakfast Point Boulevard also has gone under contract extremely quickly. Asking price was $474,900. I think that one went under contract in less than 48 hours. 216 Johnson Bayou Drive has been on the market for a little while, but the asking price $499. It should be closing anytime. And 338 Johnson Bayou Drive did just close. $535,000 was the closing price. One other note that's on here, another one of these ones that's gone under contract very quickly, we put up 609 Breakfast Point Boulevard. We just hit the market 2 days ago, and I'm sending over an accepted contract this morning, full price to the buyer side. Hearing over and over again of homes going under contract that quickly give you just the kind of sense of the appetite that's out there. People are just waiting, and as soon as something comes up on the market, they know they don't have time to waste, and they know they better make a very, very clean, strong offer. The offer we got on 609 Johnson Bayou yesterday was extremely strong, extremely clean. The sellers almost didn't have a choice but to accept it, as strong as the terms came over. So buyers are prepared. When they see something, they know they don't have a lot of time to waste. One thing I wanted to take a look at was the days on market number. I haven't looked at it recently, but with all this quick activity, I wanted to see what the numbers were looking like. And here's some averages. This average days on market number, the average in Breakfast Point in the resale section, 29 days on market. That's really quick. I mean, we traditionally, or if there's such thing as a normal market in real estate, but when we're in a neutral market, we're hovering around 100, 110, 120 days on the market is very normal, very reasonable. Gives you 4 months to make plans to move, make plans for where you're going to be. And that's from putting it on the market all the way through negotiations and closing. 29 days on the market is just extremely fast. And look at what the average sales to list price is. That means our asking price is the final sales price is coming in within 1% of the asking price. A lot of things contribute to that, but again, I hope you get the sense here of just how active Breakfast Point market is. We're in the kind of market that you have to think about pricing a little on the high side and probably pretty aggressively. The big challenge when you start pricing aggressively and maybe continuing to move the price up and getting accepted contracts at a price that's even higher than the recent sales is that we run into potential appraisal issues. But just because an appraisal comes in low doesn't mean that the buyer is going to walk away or that a seller has to reduce the price. Plenty of buyers, as you can see, are very interested in making a purchase. And so in the right situation, plenty of times we can negotiate with a buyer that they're still coming in with the contract price and just making up the difference in cash on their own. And so all of this, 14 minutes and 45 seconds now, I just really want to drive home the continued popularity of Breakfast Point for buyers, the mindset of the buyers that they're very, very interested. They're making strong offers. You certainly can't say that price doesn't matter, but you certainly have to be careful with pricing, not to leave any money on the table when things are selling this fast and buyers are this excited about buying. So hope you guys found this useful. We'll be in touch next month with another update, and be well, stay safe. Thanks.